Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Welcome on in to a DFS strategy video for the RBC Canadian Open. My name is Eric, and I'm here with SweetSpotDFS. Go over all the things you're going to want to know on how to hit the optimal lineup this week. I know it's a late start time. I already see someone in the chat. By the way, this is a live chat, so if you're watching this on replay, check the timestamps down below. Skip ahead. I do like to talk to my audience, whoever is present in the chat. I see that Joanne says it's too late to 10 o'clock. Time for her's too late. I understand. It is 9 o'clock here, and it is peak summer hours. I don't know. I wish. Well, I shouldn't say I wish. It is what it is. I'm practicing for golf tournaments, and this is my time because I have a 9-to-5 job. My practice is after work until sundown, basically. It's still sun out, like there's still sun up. I wish I could be practicing right now, but I do want to be here for you guys and provide content and all that good stuff. But it's just trying to pack as many things in as possible, and that's just where we are. So Joanne says she's gonna watch it tomorrow, so that's good. I mean, that's again why we do it a little early. Why we're not doing it just on Wednesdays is so you guys have time to watch it Wednesday during the day. You know, stream it here Tuesday. But yeah, all right. You got that Minnesota hours. That's correct. We are in the Midwest. All right. So a few things I want to note. Again, if you are watching this on replay, skip ahead, skip ahead, skip ahead, skip ahead. Unless you want to listen to me talk about a few things. One of them being a hat order. I am going to put this order in Thursday. I said by the 10th. Then let me zoom in for you guys. It says I will put orders in Wednesday the 10th. I want you guys to put them in June 8th, but I'm going to give you some more time. I really only had Joanne actually go through here and, you know, sign up. Basically, I just want you to fill out a form. Let me know if you're interested, what options of hats that you would like. I am wearing one of them right now. I am wearing option 4. So you can see what option 4 looks like. The hats will cost $40. If you got any money banked up from the giveaways, that will go towards this. And if you want a more customized hat, just go to this site that I have right here, like copy and paste this into your browser, and it will show you all the different types of hats that you can get. But yeah, you can go to SweetSpotDFS.com. Right, there's a link down in the description down below. Go check out the description. Go to SweetSpotDFS.com, and under Fantasy Tools, you will see something called Special Orders. So you just go in here and you type in all this information. I will get an email that says you're interested in a hat. I will then send you an email confirming what hat choice and color you would like, and whether or not you want a badge or not. This is a badge. This is a badge. The other ones will be embroidered. That means they're stitched. They will be stitched in there, and you won't have just this leather patch that's on the hat. So really, it's up to you guys, whether you want a hat or not. If we can get a lot of hat orders, I can actually bring the price down, and I will prorate this. We will change the 40 to something else. So anyways, hats are available for you guys. Now, moving on from that, I do have a US Open giveaway. It's called Split the Pot, or Win the Pot, basically, but Split the Pot, same thing. That's not Split the Pot. It's a Win the Pot. You win all of the money. You win all of the money. It starts at $20. So I'm doing a $20 giveaway regardless. However, every one new subscriber, I will add $2 to the pot. It started at 954. Actually, let me change that right now. The channel is at 955 subscribers, so we added 1 subscriber or $2 to the pot. Hopefully we can get a few more, and I will be putting out US Open content this weekend. Well, yes, I think I will be. I just remembered. So I have a Minnesota State Open qualifier on Thursday. I will probably be back in as long as DraftKings puts out salaries for the US Open on Thursday. I will be able to put as much content out there as possible. I'll be recording everything Thursday. If not, oh boy, it's going to be tough. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to get it out. I don't know if I'll be able to get out anything. Maybe pass optimal and GPP lineups. Maybe a first look. We shall see. And then Monday when I come back, or even Sunday night, I'm going to be doing a podcast with Byron Lindeque, Back Nine Bets, the Model Maniac. It's Back Nine Bets on YouTube, the Model Maniac on X. We will be doing a preview pod. It's going to be a very long pod, just like we did for the Masters, like we did for the PGA Championship. We'll be going over all of the things that you're going to want to know. That'll be that Sunday. He might start it without me because I have a golf tournament this weekend. That's why I might not be able to get content out, because I have a golf tournament. So again, busy summer for me, guys. It's golf season, and I'm very serious about golfing. I might even try to qualify for the 3M Open. So yeah, that's where we're at. But anyways, go subscribe if you haven't. That'll add money to the pot. And then if you want an entry into the giveaway, there's a video down in the description that explains how to gain entries into any of the giveaways I do. It basically just requires your participation. But if you want a more thorough and a more detailed explanation as to how to get entries, go check out that video down below. Go check it out. So yeah, there's that. AJ, I just see your post. If you buy a hat from me, there's no benefits that I'm getting other than you marketing and advertising for me, because I'm not that $40 is not like extra where I get to profit something. It is literally going to be the cost of the hat. So I'm not making you'll be supporting me by wearing the merch that I have. There'll be no added whatever. So just throwing that out there. Anybody who is buying a hat, it is for you guys. It isn't for me. Well, sort of for me, but it's mostly for you. Okay. Ooh, what did I just do? Oh. Okay. So outside of that, we always have this giveaway. It is the weekly and monthly giveaway. Again, go check out the video on how to gain entries. I do roll calls during these live streams. If you go and comment on the video after they go to replay, which again, all replay is, I'm live right now. As soon as I hit end recording or end broadcast, it then gets uploaded to YouTube to be watched by anybody, but I won't be live at that time. So if you don't see the little live button down here, it means you're watching on a replay. And for everyone in chat, remember to be live. Sometimes your internet is slow and the buffer rates push you back a little bit. So if you're not with me all the way when I ask you for roll calls, you might not be able to get, you know, an entry or your participation into it. So just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. Okay. That is all that I have for here. Let's go ahead and run the weekly giveaway. By the way, whoever won the weekly giveaway last week, I forgot who it was. Oh, was it Nathan? Nathan won it. That's right. Nathan won it and we banked it. Okay, never mind. Giveaway time. We had 17 total entries. We're going to run it right now. Johnny B. Johnny B, congrats, man. That's $5 to you. Email me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com or message me on X or whatever. However you want to get a hold of me. Let me know where I can send that money. I do Venmo, I do PayPal, I do Google Pay. If you want to bank it for merchandise, you certainly can do that as well. So yeah. Okie dokie. By the way, these live roll calls are not going towards the US Open giveaway, only the comments on the videos. So last week's comments don't count anymore. Don't go back and try to comment on that. When this goes to replay, after it goes live, go into the comment section, comment. You will get entries into the Win the Pot giveaway. So I was throwing it out there. Throwing it out there for all of you guys. Yeah, Johnny B. Johnny B is the weekly subscriber giveaway winner. I forgot what we're going to talk. I forgot to mention what goes on in this video other than saying how to hit the optimal lineup. We're going to go over the golf course and tournament information. Then we're going to jump into, we'll jump into pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. We'll get into the bucket system. I've already looked it over, so we're not going to do what we typically do. This video is actually going to be a lot shorter than it usually is because we're not going to do the whole 1 hour segment of the bucket system. We're just going to go over that information relatively quick. But yeah, let's go ahead and get ourselves into the golf course and tournament information. I like to start here at the tournament stats page on SweetSpotDFS.com when talking about the golf course and tournament information. You'll want to go into the select tournament if you're doing this on the website. It requires you to be a paying member, so it is behind a paywall. Go ahead and just type in Canadian or start typing in Canadian. That will bring up the Canadian Open. We have 146 golfers in the field this week. We normally see 156, but if you remember what the PGA Tour is doing, they are trying to limit the fields to some extent, and that is to increase play. Basically, a better percentage of people make it to the cut, although the cut is still the same. It's top 65 in ties, but if you think about it, less people in the field means a larger percentage makes through the cut. It just, I wouldn't say it makes it more exclusive for the people who have already qualified for these events or who already have status, but that's kind of what it is. It makes it a little bit more exclusive, makes it easier for the PGA Tour players to make the cut, and easier for us to get 6 at 6 through the cut. It won't be super easy, but it'll be easier to get 6 at 6 through the cut. Last year, oh, this is interesting. I am so sorry. This, I don't think, is supposed to say Oakdale Golf and Country Club. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to say TPC Toronto, because that is where the golf course is. I need to fix that. I have no idea how that got there. Yeah, I will have to change this. It might be the correct name, though. I don't remember. Anyway, I'll look into it after the stream. I am sorry for those watching on a replay. They're like, what the heck's going on? It might be just a copy and paste error. That might be the issue. Anyways, Canadian Open. Let me bring up this page. This will help me understand a little bit better. Okay. Oakdale Golf and Country Club in 2023. Yeah, that'd be a copy and paste error. I am so sorry, everybody. And I hope it's just on the one data page. Anyways, TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley was played here last year. Again, we're using that golf course this year. So when you're using the tournament stats page, just keep that in mind. Last year, Ryan Fox won at 18 under. The cut score was 3 under. We only have 1 year's worth of data. Looking at past Canadian Opens probably is not going to do us justice because the golf courses are different. So if you're looking back for average winning score or even average cut score, probably not the greatest to do. It probably has very little value, honestly. What I will say probably has more value is the fact that the strength of field is 355. That's higher than it was last year at 324 and higher than it has been in previous years. Remember, Rory McIlroy won this tournament in 2019 and then came back in 2022 to defend it. There was 2 years because of COVID that they just did not have a Canadian Open. So Rory was a defending champion for like 3 years, or well, 2 years. But he came back after winning in 2019 to defend his title in 2022, then won it again and came back in 2023 to defend his title where Nick Taylor won. With Rory in the field, being one of the top golfers in the world, that's where the strength of field points gets brought into play. Those years were lower than this year's strength of field. If I bring up the cheat sheet, I think a lot of it has to do with some of these top players. I would say the field going all the way down to probably Shane Lowry. So $9,000 and up. There aren't a lot of golfers that are at 9,000 and up, but this surely beats past years where it would be like Rory at the top. And then maybe you get Tommy Fleetwood, and then it drops down to like Nick Taylor or even Shane Lowry, I suppose. So you'd have like 3 golfers that are inside the top 50. Well, we have 14 golfers inside the top 50 this week, and that's where a lot of the strength of field points comes from. So first and foremost, that is one of those key pieces I would look at when it comes to researching which golfers you like. And basically what I would use is like any of the pages or any of the tools at SweetSpotDFS.com, if you go into them and there is a pane here to the left that have these little buttons. These are filter buttons. And under tournament stats, I mean, you could use anything that you want. Field size, that might be worthwhile to do. So if we chose, let's say 140 golfers to 160 is fine. And then we scroll down a little bit, use the strength of field old. It's 355. So let's just do like 100 points, 100 point threshold or difference here. We'll go 300 to 400, 355 fits inside that. X out of this. And for this page in particular, the strokes gain stats, you will find the golfers here. And this also goes, you know, we want to change the date. Personally, I like to use like a 1 year difference. But we could go even further back to get more rounds of golf. You can see right now this little summary box that's up here, the top right above my head. It's showing some of these golfers only have 8 rounds of golf. I kind of want more than that just to get a better understanding of who is good in these types of tournaments. And there aren't, it doesn't change much by rounds, but strokes gain total, if you were to just sort from the best to the worst, this is going to give you kind of a good picture as to what kind of golfers excel at these tournament conditions. I'll do that in quotes because it's like, these aren't quite conditions that golfers are going to play in, but with this type of field, how talented and how many golfers we have in the field, we can kind of compare how other golfers fare. You know, some of these golfers are used to limited field events with a higher strength of field. So, you know, the Tommy Fleetwoods of the world and the, you know, Matt Fitzpatricks, they might not play a lot of events that have these types of, let's say, tournament stats or these tournament conditions. But I think it's worthwhile to look into just to get some diamonds in the rough, I suppose, or, you know, glue pieces that you need in your lineups that are going to make your lineups actually work out. So like these 8K golfers, Aaron Ryan, Nick Taylor, Jacob Bridgman, Harry Hall, this is all music to my ears seeing these types of golfers at the top of these conditions. You can agree or disagree with it. That's fine, but it's still a piece that you can look into. And it is a piece that I think can be valuable. I find it valuable. So take it or leave it. That's up to you guys. But yeah, these are your top 10 golfers. Billy Horschel, 6,900. Denny McCarthy, 7,300. Those are great end pieces to put in your lineup. If you want to see which tournaments those kind of fall within, so if you just drill down in any of these golfers' names, you will see kind of their little, can't think of a better word than transaction log, but it is a log, their game log, I suppose. That's probably the best way to look at it. Their game log. So Denny McCarthy, Wyndham Championship, Valero Texas Open, Cognizant Beach, Sony Open, and Wyndham Championship. 2 Wyndhams, I guess, are in there. So that's fine. And you can see his finishes: 11th, 18th, 48th, 16th, 33rd. The only issue I have with this is like Wyndham is Bermuda, Valero is more or less a POA. I would count it as bent grass, so we could use kind of the Valero is fine. Sony Open's going to be Bermuda, and the Cognizant at the time that they play it is always an overseed, so that would also be another, you know, bent grass slash POA mix. So for Denny, he's got most of these tournaments in Bermuda. So this kind of goes into my second piece, which, you know, we have our tournament stats, which is your strength of field, field size, what type of event it is, all that good stuff, which golf course is being played. But we also have the golf course and tournament stats. So this is updated properly, 2026. So if you have something else on your screen when you go here, again, this is under Fantasy Tools, golf course stats. Just start typing in Canadian Open, and then you drill into that. And then you're going to want to choose the TPC Toronto North course as the golf course. So here are the stats that you can look at when it comes to what kind of grass is going to be played at this event. There's a summary box up here in the top right. You're going to find summary boxes on most of the tools at SweetSpotDFS.com up at the top, just to give you a rough idea, or again, a summary of what goes into this golf course, what goes into these tournament stats. We have bent grass and Poana. I would mostly just look at bent grass, but if you want to look at Poana, that's fine. I think these roll very much like the greens very much roll bent grass. You will have some of the flowering, the buds that flower on the green with the Poana, because Poana is a dominating grass. But from what I remember last year, the greens rolled pretty true. And when they roll true, it's best to look at bent grass. But you guys can do whatever you want. At SweetSpotDFS.com, if we use this tool again, let's go ahead and hit the eraser button. I'm going to change this back to 2025. And then we go into the grass stats here. We can go ahead and put in for greens or fairways or whatever you want to look. You can put like a summary grass down here. Or if you really want to get specific, we have specific grass stains or grass strains up here. This is like if you were to go look. So greens grass, there's Bandera Bermuda, brown top bent grass, Celebration Bermuda, Fescue, Kentucky Blue, Kikuya, all that. So there's specific grass strains here. I don't think there's a specific grass strain when it comes to this golf course. It just says bent grass Poana. So I probably wouldn't really look too far into that. We can go ahead and put bent grass down for green grass, and we can also put POA, and then X out of there. We have a lot of rounds of golf, so we could probably put another filter on that. Or if we just keep it here with grass, with the grass stats, we can look who are the best golfers on these types of grasses. Your 10K golfers, your 9K golfers, your 8K golfers, and 7K, Zach Bosho, or Boshu. He's in my dummy lineup. I do like Zach Boshu at this golf course. But there's Harry Hall up there again. I think Christopher Wrighton shows up yet again. All the 10K golfers. So yeah, I mean, it gives you a little idea of where to start with your lineups. You don't have to, but it gives you an idea. That's all that I have for golf course and tournament information. I'm going to move on to the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups, but first, let me check out the chat because I missed doing it after the intro. I was so excited to get into it. There's a ton of chats that I need to get back to. So AJ says, I did horrible last week. Seems like everyone who missed the cut I picked. I don't know, man. I think you're going to have to consult with me with the golfers that you pick. You're going to have to consult with me. Logan says he min cashed Outlast in advance to this week. Unfortunately, do not wear hats with my mohawk. That's AJ Love saying that in the chat. Johnny B said, did Dave Ramsey give you better picks this week, AJ? That's funny. No, I was watching his thoughts and paying off your mortgage earlier. Lombardi Lee, what's going on, man? Nice to see ya. I'll buy a hat anyway. All right, you do you, bud. I wish Dave Ramsey would give the Sweet Spot lineup. Yeah, that'd be sweet. I do wear your shirts at my gigs. I love hearing that. Just ate a hot dog, so there's 12 minutes of my life taken away. Did you eat a 12-inch hot dog? Logan goes, I'll wear mine on my own stream when I get it as well. Love that. I'm taking my girlfriend to her first par 3 course. It's 9 holes. There you go. That's a great way to get girls introduced to the golf game. Absolutely. I'll likely be an NFL best ball draft with my mates. Agreed, this is an awesome field. I'll say it is not easy to draft after 8 rounds. That's where I do the best. We draft with a 3-man. Cool. All right. That's the chat. I'm caught up. No, I read if you eat hot dogs or ham or bacon, it takes 12 minutes off your life. Oh. I suppose if you exercise, though, you might get your 12 minutes back. All right. Let's move into the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. And of course, I don't have the pages up. Oh my gosh, my bad. I think we're going to hit that transition once again. I know it's janky, but I thought I had them up. I don't see them. All right, let's try it again. All right. When it comes to the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups, I just want to get an idea as to what type of lineup build I want to go with. So the first thing that I like to do is just go into the Canadian Open for the tournament. So it says select tournament right here. Go ahead, put the Canadian Open. This will look at every Canadian Open. Now, I said this during the tournament and golf course stats section of the video, or segment of the video. Last year was the first year that the TPC Toronto golf course was used. This is another year where TPC Toronto is used. Going back in time, there were other golf courses used, and there are different fields that are included. So what are we supposed to do with that information? Why would we look at a summary of all the tournaments or all the years that this tournament has played if there's different golf courses used, different fields that are played? What difference does it make? Here's one thing that stays true all the time. All the time. I always hear this type of argument, and here's the answer to your arguments. I look at salaries, and a lot of people look at salaries because they are a power ranking. DraftKings isn't just adding a $10,000 price tag to a golfer who doesn't deserve it. They're literally looking at the best golfers in the field. All right, you get a $10,000 price tag, and then you drop down in the 9K range, or you look at the next batch of golfers and you go, you get a 9K price tag, and then these guys get 8Ks, these guys get 7s and 6s, and so on. If you look at odds of a tournament and you see, oh, a lot of golfers with long odds win at this event, are you going to ignore that information? Probably not, right? Probably not. So we look at salaries because it gives us a good idea. Does the cream rise to the top? Should we start with a 10K golfer? Or should we drop down in the 9K range and have a more balanced build? That's why we look at salaries. So this week, if we take a look, and that's why this page exists. This is why I love this tool. Of all of the Canadian Opens, whether we're looking at the GPP winning lineup, the optimal lineup, or the sweet spot optimal, the 10-9-8-7-7-6 lineup is the most common, followed by a 10-2-8s, 2-7s, and a 6, then followed by a 10-9-8-7-7-7. What do these all have in common? One 10K, one 8K, and two 7K golfers. Those four salaries are in each and every one of these lineups, or these top lineups. Sure, there's some other ones, 10-9 for 7s. If I drill down into this, you can see the little log down here of where those lineups occurred, and it was last year's Canadian Open, both the Sweet Spot Optimal and the GPP winning lineup. You can see the max salary that was used and the minimum salary that was used. And if you want to go a little further into it, if you want to dive a little deeper, I have another page called the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. So here again, you would go to select tournament, you would type in Canadian Open. And in 2025, we could look at the GPP winning lineup, or we could look at the SweetSpot optimal, I think, right? Or was it the optimal? Either way, here was your GPP winning lineup. This is the 10-9-8, 7-7, or no, I'm sorry, 10-9, 7-7-7-7. So you can see how it was built. $10,500 Ludwig Oberg that finished 13th place. So your 10, I think what happens at an event like this, the Canadian Open, sure, the cream rises to the top, but they're not first, second, third, fourth, fifth place. It's like top 20. And then you got to get the rest of the pieces right. A $7,700 Ryan Fox won the event. A $9,300 Sam Burns got second. Then there were two other 7Ks, I should say. Cam Young being 75. Isn't that crazy? That's kind of cool. Last year, Cam Young, $7,500. You won't see him at 75 anymore. But you had $7,500 Cam Young, $7,400 Benny Ann, and then $7,600 Alex Smalley. Finished 13th. So 2 13ths and 4 top 6s. A first, a second, a fourth, and a sixth. So you can not only see the finishing places, you can see the salaries, you can see how many DraftKings points that were scored. The winner scored 668 points. Now, the optimal lineup scored 691. So that's pretty darn close to being the optimal lineup, the GPP winner. So that was pretty good. This one was what, a 9 and 5 7K golfers? All right. And then there's the SweetSpot optimal here. This is a 13th place finish, and then a bunch of top 4s. And this one scored 690.5. This is only half a point behind the optimal lineup. The SweetSpot optimal used up $50,000 of the salary. The optimal used up $46,900, and it was only a half point better than the SweetSpot optimal. So, yeah, these are things you can use at SweetSpotDFS.com. Go take a look. Personally, I'm not going to do any more research with you guys on this, because I'm gonna start my lineups with a 10-9, or it's most likely going to be a 10-9-8, or it's going to be a 10-8-8 with 2 7s and a 6, and maybe another 7. We shall see. Man, we'll build lineups here at the end of the. Oh, Michael Kennedy, thank you very much. How late are you? 30 minutes, that's all. So, by the way, I also forgot to mention, we'll be using the optimizer to build lineups. All of the information, like the 10-9-8-7-7-6, can all be built right into this little condition box right here. And that's how we can build our lineups later on. But I do think it's going to be smart to have a 10 and 8, 2 7s, and 2 7s. Just that. A 10, an 8, and 2 7s. But I can already tell you, looking at the bucket system, we kind of want to play a 9K golfer this week. So I think 10-9-8-7-7-6 is the way to go, or 10-9-8-7-7-7. Even 10-9-8-7-6-6, I think, is also a smart choice when building lineups. By the way, when it comes to salaries, pretty normal. This looks very similar to most DraftKings contests. Three 10Ks, we normally see 4. And then what do we have for 9K golfers? 8 9K golfers. So actually one more 9K golfer than we typically see. We usually see about 7 9K golfers. We have 8 this week. $9,900 Colin Morikawa is almost a $10,000 golfer. So we can pretend that it is a 10K golfer. Anyways, that's it for Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. I will move on to the bucket system now. Like I said, we're going through this fast. We're going to go through this fast. Okay, Dr. Work. LOL. Remember, last year was this course rest of years different courses? Yes, I said that. I don't know if you were paying attention, but I did say that. What was last year's? It was this golf course. What was last year's what? Be more specific. Thirsty work, man. Thirsty work. All right. Moving on. Moving on to the bucket system. Again, this is going to be relatively short because I've already kind of gone through the optimizer and did all the things. All right, let's go. I'm going to start here with the bucket system. Actually, no. I am so sorry. We are going to start at the cheat sheet. So here, this is free for everyone, by the way, free on our Fantasy Tools cheat sheet. There's a link for the website's URL down in the description of this video. Go click on it. It should already be a hyperlink for you to click. It'll bring you to the homepage. You just go into the Fantasy Tools drop-down, hit cheat sheet, and it will bring you straight here. Now, scroll down a little bit till you find this cheat sheet right here, and click here. This will bring up the Google Sheet that I will be using here shortly. On this Google Sheet, you have a few tabs at the bottom of the screen. One's called Dream Sheet, one's called Bucket System, and there's a few more. Click on Bucket System. You can kind of follow along with me if you do it this way. All that the bucket system is going to show us is for the stat categories that we are looking at. There are 6 buckets per stat category. And of those 6 buckets, they all have projections. How many golfers do we expect to see inside the top 10 from each of these buckets? So to make this easier to see for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and put a filter on this. And then if I clear out, let me zoom in actually. If I clear out all of the stats in column A, clear them all out except for last year, and then hit OK, now you're only seeing the last year buckets. There are 6, like I said, last year 1, last year 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you have a range that explains what these buckets are. So for the last year 1 bucket, that is golfers that finish inside the top 20 from last year's tournament. I keep track of this every single year. So this is 2026. The golfers that have top 20s in 2025 are going to get a last year 1 tag under the last year column. So if I go ahead and put a filter on this page and we only look at last year 1s, you're going to see all the golfers that top 20 last year. And there's a column over to the right on the spreadsheet that says LY. It shows what their finishing position was from the previous year. Now, if for whatever reason you don't trust me, go look up each of these golfers and see what their 2025 stats are. Then you can be confident in everything that I'm telling you. But if you went back to the bucket system and you took a look at the projections, for last year 1, the projection says 0.92 for the minimum projection and 1.84 for the maximum projection. I know I have these backwards. Should be min first, then max, but this is just how it was first created, and I didn't want to update the formulas and all that stuff. It's all good. Either way, this first bucket, last year 1, and if I actually go even further into this and I just only look at last year 1s, the projection is 0 to 2. So if you went back to the dream sheet and we took a look at all the golfers that are in this bucket, we have 1 10K, 1 8, oh, hold on. 1 10K, 1 9K, 1 8K, a bunch of 7s, and a bunch of 6s, or a couple 6s. Now you might be thinking to yourself, oh, I can build myself a 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 lineup just with this. I'm here to tell you that's stupid. Don't do that. It is stupid because when you look at the bucket system, you will see the projection says 0 to 2. We are expecting somewhere between 0 to 2 golfers to finish inside the top 10. Now, if we want to dig into this a little deeper, we can take a look at the min-max for how many golfers from the last year 1 bucket finish inside the top 10. You know, what is the minimum amount of golfers that finish inside the top 10? 2. 2, but only a max of 3. On average, we have 14 golfers in this bucket. This year, we only have 12. And the strength of field's pretty poor. All of these data points go into the projection. Heck, we have a 16.54% success rate. If we were just to multiply 12 times 0.1654, you're going to get a number that's 2. So this success rate is looking at all of the golfers that have ever been in this bucket to play at the Canadian Open. Of all of them, how many finished inside the top 10? 16%. We take that 16% and we apply it to this week's field. We get a number of 2. So that's pretty close. The 1.98 is pretty, well, I mean, 2 is just boom, right there in 2. Part of this tells me we should actually include 3, but maybe not. Maybe not. So this is the spreadsheet version of the bucket system. Might I implore you to look at the website's version of the bucket system? Because if you drill into last year 1, or better yet, if you use a little hamburger icon right here and we only look at last year 1s like we were just doing, you're going to get kind of that same view that we just had. 2 to 3, 16.54%. There's been at least one golfer in the optimal lineup every year. There's been one golfer at least inside the top 5 every year that comes from this bucket. Here's the beautiful thing. We applied that filter. If you scroll down on this page, you get to see all of the golfers that were in this bucket. This is your kind of granular level. You know, you're very detailed, specific. If you wanted to go year by year, I've got these filters over here. We only take a look at 2025s. You know, we had about the same amount of golfers. Rory McIlroy, by the way, missed the cut. He was 11,900. Here's how I like to use this type of tool. I like to look, okay, who were our best performers? Well, in 2025, our guy who won was Ryan Fox. He was $7,700. Then it was a $9,300 Sam Burns and a $7,000 Victor Perez that all finished inside the top 10. You can see what their actual finishes were. 7th for Ryan Fox the year before, 10th from Sam Burns, 3rd from Victor Perez. Now, you also might be going, okay, well, again, if we were looking at last year's data, you're trying to tell me that the tournament that was played for the Canadian Open that was played at a different golf course the year prior to 2025 matters at all when looking at data for last year's tournament. Guys, if you follow the bucket system, I keep track of these stats because I want to know what the lead-in data tells me. I just want to know all of the lead-in data. That's all that the bucket system tells us. What's the lead-in data? What are the lead-in data points for the golfers for each year that the Canadian Open is played? I really don't care what golf course they played at the year before. We're seeing a lot of the same golfers come back to the event. A lot of it's because they're exempt for finishing inside the top 20 or finishing inside the top 10. So what are they going to do with that? I want to know what they do with that information, or what they do with that privilege, I guess. Well, we get to see it every year. Again, I'm only looking at 2025. You get to go into 2024. Take a look at 2024. You'll see Rory McIlroy and Corey Connors were the only 2 guys that finished inside the top 10. But you can also see who were close, who were knocking on the door. A $6,500 Andrew Novak, an $8,900 Aaron Rai. So could we conclude, at least in the last 2 years, that Reem kind of rises to the top, that finished top 20 the year before? Well, you can go back every single year. $7,600 Aaron Rai finished 3rd. $9,700 Justin Rose finished 8th. And $11,500 Rory McIlroy finished 9th in 2023. And Rory came back and played it in 2024, believe it or not. That's great. I only thought he played it one other year when we were talking about strength of field. There was not a tournament in 2022. There was not a tournament in 2021. and there wasn't a tournament in 2020. Oh my God. Is that true? I might have to look into that. Hold on. Wait a minute. No, we had a tournament in 2022. I got to figure out why the bucket system. Oh, I might have it excluding 2022. That's my bad. I'll have to look into that. Oh my God. What the heck? Unless I just have something. Oh, there wouldn't be a last year one bucket, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. In 2023, there wouldn't be a last year one bucket. Or I'm sorry, 2022. Because there wasn't a tournament in 2021. If I got rid of this filter, we'll get data that will show up. There you go. There it is, 2022. But if we only look at last year one, this was a year that we exclude. We don't look at last year one or we don't look at the last year buckets when there wasn't a tournament the year before, right? That makes no sense. Glad I caught that. Yeah, we go all the way back to 2019. $8,600, $9,000, $7,600. So there we go. An 8K, a 9K, 7K. Let's take a look at this week's field. So I know you can look at this a couple different ways. You can either go to the cheat sheet, the Google sheet, go into the dream sheet, look at the golfers' price tags. You guys can use it this way, or you can go to the website, and this is free. This cheat sheet, like I said, is free. Click the little bucket icon, pretty slick, letting you know it's the bucket system, and just drill down on last year one. And there you go. You get the 12 golfers this way. You get a little bit of a summary up here, strength of field that goes towards it, how many golfers inside the top 50 of the OWGR. And you get Sam Burns, Shane Lowry, Nick Taylor. Those are your only 10, 9, and 8K golfers. Then it drops down into the 7K range and then the 6K range. So you can do a lot of things with this information. What did we see every single year? At least an 8K golfer. I should say this, at least an 8, 9, or no. Let me go back here. We go to 2025. We had a 9 and 2 7s. 2024, we had a 12 and a 9. 2023, we had a 7, 9, and 11. So we're seeing 9s every single year, at least one 9. We are seeing a bunch of 7K golfers, and yeah, the 10K golfers aren't doing so terribly either. In 2019, you had an 8, a 9, and a $7,600 golfer. So what do we do with that information? By the way, if you wanted to sort by salaries, you can see how many golfers there were in each price point. So there was only one 10K golfer that was in the last year one bucket, one 9K golfer that was in the last year one bucket. That's Brent Snedeker. So are we trying to say Shane Lowry is an automatic play in our lineups? Is that what we just found out? I mean, there's more research we can do, but, you know, can the bucket system highlight golfers like this? Yeah, absolutely. You could almost make a rule. If not Burns, then play Lowry. If not Lowry, then play Nick Taylor, and that's it. Those are your rules. Or you select two of these guys. Because again, you kind of saw it. I mean, it's not always a 10, it's not always an 8. Sometimes there are 7K golfers that are involved. But that is what the beauty of the bucket system is. We can take a look at each of the golfers that did do well. $1,100 or $11,700 Dustin Johnson won this event in 2018. Keegan Bradley, $8,100. And look at that, $9,100 Ian Poulter. Finished 12th. So 9K range for this bucket is pretty good. Do we even have a 9K range here? Jim Furyk finished 75th. Yeah, that's not great. Not great. Our $12,200 Dustin Johnson finished 8th. $7,000 Johnny Vegas finished 1st. He went back-to-back that year. I want to go back one more year just to look at this. Oh, we don't have a salary. That's a bummer. Okay. Never mind. Does not matter to look back that far. Another thing you can do is if you scroll down a little bit, you can see bucket totals per year. You can see how many golfers finished inside the top 10 for any bucket you want to look at. Obviously, we had the filters on for last year one, and the top 10 count button over here has been pressed. That's why it's red. You want to look at the total counts every single year. Here you go. You just unselect any of the boxes that you've checked already. And you can see there's a 0 in 2022, 0 in 2021, and 0 in 2020. That is because the tournament in 2020 wasn't played, nor was the tournament in 2021. 2022, there was a tournament played, but if we're only looking at the last year bucket, well, we're going to have 0 because there wasn't a tournament played the year before. So those 3 zeros can be ignored. The 0 in 2013 can also be ignored. So every single year, we're pretty darn close, or we're at least somewhere between 13 to 16 golfers in this bucket. If we drill down in the top 10 counts, you can kind of see how every year fared. 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Well, why are all those 2s? Were there less golfers in the field? No. Anytime it's north of 13, it's fine. It's at least 2 that finish inside the top 10. We can even do top 5 counts. You want to take a look at the top 5 counts: 2, 1, 1, 0s, 2, 2, 1s, and 2. It's like a 50% split of 2s and 1s. How about in the optimal lineup? Pretty much the same thing. We do have well, there were no salaries in 2016 or 2015. We did have salaries in 2017 though. So yeah, that's just one bucket, guys. That's just one bucket. I am not going through every, not all 36 buckets. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to use the website. Use the website to your advantage. Find the golfers. Like, this is where I would ask you or recommend each and every one of you to actually do your research, is to pick your golfers based off of what you see from the bucket system. If you go to the cheat sheet, you know, we already have the last year one bucket selected. You can go through any of these other buckets. If you wanted to see, you know, last year ones, last week ones, well, only Sam Burns. Only Sam Burns. I believe if you go into this bucket system and we scroll down and we select buckets, here we go last year ones. Does this work? Last week ones? It does not. Okay. I'll have to figure out why. Doesn't like the double selection. Okay. I'll have to figure that one out. I don't know why it does that. I wish you could look at it that way. In the future, you'll be able to, that's for sure. I do last year one, last week one. Will it work this way? Maybe it works this way. It does not. Y'all, that's annoying. It's like an or statement. It's last year one or last week one. But you can still find the golfers that are both last week one and last year one. You can use the little bucket IDs here. This is somewhat simple. And you could go, you can sort, yeah, maybe not. That's probably too annoying. I think I can just select last year ones or even last week ones. So if I do something like this and then sort by last week ones, there we go. Now you get all the golfers that were last year ones, last week ones. You can kind of see their price tags. You hold down Control. Never mind, it was Shift. You wanted to hold down Shift. Yeah, okay, hold on. So select the last week bucket, and then hold down Shift. Now we can sort by our salaries. So you can kind of see how these golfers fared. I mean, Sam Burns last year finished second place, and he was a last year one as well as a last week one. He was both. We don't have many cuts, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. There's a cut. The cuts are 6K golfers. Dustin Johnson would have been a 10K golfer, I'm sure, when he missed the cut in 2014. He'd have been up there somewhere. But yeah, this is kind of an interesting way to look at it. Ryan Fox was first place. Sam Burns was second. That was in 2025. You can kind of see some of the other, it's not super great. But again, you guys can do your own research and see what you like the most. And by the way, for those that aren't interested in doing any of that research, I have all of the bucket projections built in to the optimizer. So all you got to do is request the optimizer, and all of the bucket conditions that make sense are going to be in here. And I reviewed all of them. So normally what I would do in this segment is, well, let me hit the eraser button here. I would basically go into each of these buckets. So on the optimizer, we see 2 to 6 last year sixes. That means golfers who did not play last year. So we go into this cheat sheet, again, under Fantasy Tools cheat sheet, click the bucket icon, go into last year sixes. That's what we want to look at. And we just want to look at the golfers that represent this bucket. Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood. Listen, if you were to say, all right, you can only pick 2 golfers that you think are going to finish inside the top 10 this week. You just need to get one of the 2 golfers to finish inside the top 10. Who are you choosing? I'm going to choose the guys at the top of the leaderboard for the salaries. Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood. Plus, they're the best golfers that are in the field. So why not them? There's also Colin Morikawa. There are a lot of 8K and above golfers in this bucket. So this projection of 2 to 6 makes a lot of sense. And so I already went into each of these buckets. I reviewed all of the players, and I applied all of those conditions to the bucket system, to the conditionals, I should say, on the optimizer. So when you go and hit Run Optimizer, you will get a lineup that will follow each of these projections. So last year 5s, I'm asking at least 1, and it selected 1 for me. Last year 6s, well, I want at least 2, no more than 6, but it gave me 4. And that applies down the line. So what's the best thing about the bucket system, in my opinion? Best thing for me is to avoid bad plays. That's the biggest thing. Avoid bad plays. Because again, if you go into the bucket system on the cheat sheet, you're going to see the projections. 0 to 2 means don't play more than 2. Sure, you want to get a little risky, you can play 3, but don't play 4. 4 is absolutely off limits. Absolutely off limits. So you remember how I was saying before, oh, hey, we could actually build ourselves a 10-9-8-7-7-6 lineup with just the last year 1s. And I was like, don't do that. That's stupid. That has a lot to do with the fact that under the cheat sheet, under the cheat sheet, the projection says 0 to 2. We've never seen more than 3 from this bucket finish inside the top 10. We've never seen more than 2 in the optimal lineup, and we've never seen more than 2 inside the top 5. We have less golfers in the bucket this year than we typically do on average. So we have 12, where we normally see 14.1. Why would we think there's going to be more than 2? Sure, we can be a little risky and select 3, but if you're trying to select 4, I think you're just lighting your money on fire at this point in time. So yeah, it looks like you could, right? 10-1, Sam Burns, 9,000, Shane Lowry, 8,000, Nick Taylor. Who doesn't want to anchor around those golfers? And then we can put in a Jackson Suber. I'm looking at you, Logan. We can put a Jackson Suber in that lineup. Yeah, probably not the best thing to do. Just not the best thing to do. No more than 2. Maybe stretch it to 3, maybe. But definitely no more than 3. Definitely not. And that's just what the bucket system does. Honestly, the best is limit the bad plays. So that's all I have. That is the bucket system. We're at an hour. Usually bucket system portions take about an hour. It's our first roll call. First roll call. I want to know, who is the one guy you are playing this week? I'll type it into the chat. If you don't see this chat in like 10 seconds after I post it, I shouldn't even say it that way. Hold on. Let me write it out first. All right. So I just typed in the chat. If you are listening to me say this, and that was posted in the chat longer than 10 seconds, or it's been at least 10 seconds or more, you need to hit the live button right down here. Hit the live button. Make sure you're caught up with me because you are behind. Hit that live button. Ryan Henson says Shane Lowry. Love it. AJ Love says Burns. Ooh. Lombardi Lee says Brooks. Brooks Koepka. Love it. Love it. Oh, I'm sorry. Lombardi Lee says Austin Eck. Michael Kennedy. Sorry. Michael Kennedy says Brooks. Michael Kennedy says Brooks. Lombardi Lee says Austin Eck. All right. Sure. Okay. We are going to move on to the Marquee Tee Times, and we're going to start building lineups. We're at an hour right now. This video only might be an hour and a half. And that's fine. That is fine. Okay. Ooh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I forgot who I'm supposed. Oh my gosh. Does it start with B? Am I supposed to say your name? Oh my God. Why can't I think of it? Shoot. Did we put it in here? Did not. Bryson says Bobby Mack. Bryson, I just saw you say you requested the optimizer. I will send it to you after this. Mr. Kennedy. Okay. All right. Marquee Tee Times, baby. Here we go. You can follow along at the cheat sheet. BMAC. Oh my God. There it is. BMAC. Sorry. You can follow along with me on the cheat sheet. If you go into the dream sheet, make sure there are no filters applied. Well, actually, hold on. Apply filters, but make sure there are no active filters. No active filters. Oh, Dan coming in with 5 gifted memberships. Heck yeah. Logan gets one. Oh my God. Logan finally gets one. I cannot believe it. Dude, back-to-back weeks getting in there. Also, BMAC got one. John Bizzle, who we haven't seen in forever, just got one. Dan, appreciate you, man. Finally. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Michael Kennedy, I won something. No, I'm sorry. You did not win anything. We are AJ Love just said Mr. Kennedy. I know what he was referring to. It's the wrestler, Mr. Kennedy. And it would be like the microphone coming down and saying, Mr. Kennedy. Sorry for making you super excited. Yeah, thank you, Dan. Huge round of applause for Dan in the chat. Way to go, Dan. You the man. Okay. Guess what we're gonna do again? We are gonna we're gonna bring this down and we're gonna hit that. We're gonna hit what's it called? The transition. Here we go. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. All right, if you want to follow along with me on the cheat sheet, which I'm looking at right now. Remember, the cheat sheet's available to you guys. It is free. If you want to access it, go to SweetSpotDFS.com right here. You go here. Under Fantasy Tools, you click Cheat Sheet. That'll bring you here. Scroll down until you find this cheat sheet. Click here. This will open it up. This will open up a Google Sheet for you. I'm going to close this one down because I already have one open for you guys. From here, column O, you want to sort A to Z on column O, and this will give you the Marquee Tee Times for this week. Now, why are the Marquee Tee Times so special? Well, just out of pure luck, I started to record the top groups. And really, it was just trying to find the best golfers to put in my lineups that are playing in good groups. And all that I had to do, or all that I did, was model out each of the golfers, get a metric. The higher the metric, the better the golfer. Add the 3 golfers that are in a lineup or in a tee time together. Add those 3 scores up and then rank order them. So who are the best groupings? And that's how I started. I started with 10, but with the optimizer, I can only do 9. So now we're only looking at the top 9 groups in this field. And every single week that I've kept track and displayed it for each and every one of you guys, all of my regulars that come here and watch, they know how successful this is. You want to select somewhere between 2 to 4. 2 to 4. 2 to 4 golfers from the 9 Marquee Tee Times, and you want to anchor your lineups around them. So in group 1, I've got Collin Morikawa, Justin Rose, and Aaron Rai. If you liked any one of them, go ahead and anchor your lineup around one of them. So Collin Morikawa. So you're selecting one that way. Now, I said select 2 to 4 golfers. Here's the thing. Do not select more than 1 golfer from a group. And here it is. It's a 90-90 rule. 90% of tournaments played from 2021 all the way until now have had somewhere between 2 to 4 golfers inside the optimal and or the GPP winning lineup. So those 2 lineups together, 90% of lineups, or of tournaments, I should say, have had at least 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Time in each of those lineups, or either of those lineups. Now, the other 90, the 90-90 rule, the other 90% is of those 90% of lineups that had 2 to 4 golfers, 90% of them did not have golfers playing in the same lineup or in the same tee time. So I know that's confusing, but the majority of the time, you want to select your 2 golfers in different groups, or your 2 to 4 golfers in different groups. So here's group 1. So I would select Collin Morikawa. In group 2, Tommy Fleetwood's 10,300. I think that's a wonderful time to pair with Collin Morikawa. So now I've got my 2 golfers, and they're in different groups. Morikawa's in group 1, Fleetwood's in group 2. There. That satisfies the rules of the Marquee Tee Times. Now, we go further than that. I mean, we can also build, we can grab more golfers from each of these groups. Group 3 is Sam Burns, Wyndham Clark, Christopher Wrighton. Do we like any of them? They're fair. They're relatively expensive. I don't know if I can put them in a $10,300 Tommy Fleetwood and $9,900 Collin Morikawa lineup. So let's move on to the next one. Well, we got Fitzpatrick, Hovland, and Sudarshan Yelamaraju. Maybe Sudarshan at $7,600 works, but maybe not. Maybe I'll continue looking. Next group is Brooks Koepka, Nick Taylor, and Ryan Fox. Nick Taylor and Ryan Fox are our first last year 1 golfers. Sam Burns is up there, by the way. He's also a last year 1 golfer. So I could go that route. I could go the route of either Nick Taylor or Ryan Fox. Maybe I want Nick Taylor at $8,000. So I have myself a $10,300 Tommy Fleetwood, a $9,900 Colin Morikawa, and an $8,000 Nick Taylor. That sounds pretty reasonable. I don't hate it. Moving on from there. Group 6, you've got Bobby Mack, Shane Lowry, and Alex Fitzpatrick. Now, I know Shane Lowry is one of the favorites, one of the favorite golfers in the field this week. So why not go Shane Lowry? Maybe we actually sub out Colin Morikawa. Now we just do $10,300 Tommy, $9,000 Shane Lowry, and $8,000 Nick Taylor. Or we can sub Nick Taylor out for someone else. I was thinking of doing Sam Burns, but now we'll keep it this way. Then the next group, group 7, is Jacob Bridgman at $8,100, Taylor Pendrith at $77, and Steven Yeager at $75. Sure, we could play any of those golfers. The group after that is Michael Thorbjornsen, Eric Cole, Chandler Phillips in group 8, and then group 9 is Bud Cauley, Max Grazerman, and Denny McCarthy. I said I kind of like Denny this week. I don't mind going back to Denny. But yeah, I've already selected 3 golfers. That satisfies the pick 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times. I've selected all 9 Marquee Tee Times. And then also don't play more than 1 golfer from each group. And I haven't. I've got 1 golfer from group 2, 1 golfer from group 5, and 1 golfer from group 6. And it is a 10-9-8 start. It's on the low side, by the way. So there you have it. Now, when it comes to building lineups here, every person that has a badge next to their name, some people just got badges. Oh, I am so sorry. BMAC, yeah, you did win something. I'm so sorry. I was like, Mr. Kennedy, never mind. You were the first one to receive a membership. Never mind. You did win something, Michael. Oh, not Michael Kennedy. I'm so lost. Michael Kennedy, my bad. Oh my gosh, my bad. Logan finally coming back to see that he won something. You're killing me. Burns and Wrighton together. Yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. All right, so everybody in the chat that has a badge next to their name, I can build you lineups. Find me 2 to 4 golfers you want to build lineups around, and I will do that. We're going to get into lineup building here right meow. So I did win. No, I'm teasing you yet again. I'm not even sure what's going on right now. My bad. We'll get some music going. I'm just a tease, man. I'm just a tease. Do you ever run and save lineups through a solver optimizer to identify ceiling ownership, etc. for single entries? Feels like it'd be a strong combo. Do you ever run your saved lineups through a solver optimizer? No, I do not. If I'm being honest, Bryson, I haven't really intended on having the optimizer on an Excel sheet for this long. I wanted to put it on the website. And for real, like, this whole year has been just different. You know, like I could, in previous years, I knew I wasn't going to, I wasn't going to golf as much as I golfed this year. I wouldn't have gone out as much as I go out this year, but I got a new job, and a new job pays more money, and like I can do more things, and I'm taking my golf game really serious, which is really neglected updating any of the website stuff, which I apologize for the people that have been expecting a lot of that stuff. I will say this, I think my website's in a very good spot. I like all the things that I currently have. There could be some upgrades that can be a little bit better. For instance, like my whole goal with this blank space up here, this whole white space for the lead-in stats, was to give you all summaries of the stats for any of the golfers that we're looking at. So whatever you applied in the filters here would be applied in the summary box. I intended to do that. I still do intend to do that. It's just taking a back seat. Taking a back seat to a lot of the golf stuff I do, like in real life. But like I said, I love my bucket system. I literally use these tools when looking for golfers that I want to build my lineups around. So could it be better? Yes, absolutely. Always better. But it is summer, baby. It is difficult to sit in front of a computer when it's 90 degrees out and the golf course is just calling your name. Just calling your name. Okay. You guys all gave me golfers. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and build some lineups. So Logan, Max, Suber, and Fleetwood. Max Grazerman, we're talking about. I think that's Max. That's supposed to be Max Grazerman, right? Suber and Fleet. Max Homa. Kind of funny how, Max Homa was not the first person I thought of. I don't even know what his price is. I'm so disconnected from Max Homa. $7,300 maximum Homa. All right, 5 lineups for you, sir. You get Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, Aaron Rye, Taylor Pendrith, Max Homa, Jackson Suber. 10-9-8, 3-7s. That is such a juicy lineup. I don't even know if you need any other lineups built. I'm kind of not even joking when I say that. Kind of not even joking. I do need to change that ownership, though. Don't quite care for what I have. I don't know what... Hold on. Give me a second. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a darn minute. Actually, do I have it saved over here? I do. There it is. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. Ta-ta-ta. There we go. There we go. All right, next lineup. We get Fleetwood, Brooks, Koepka, Bridgman, Finau, who qualified for the U.S. Open, Max Homa, and Jackson Suber. Actually, I need to... I'll look later. A buddy of mine qualified for he got past the local qualifier and went on to the regional qualifier, and I was watching him. He was tied with Austin Eckroat for a little while, and he kind of fell off. The wheels fell off a little bit. Us Minnesota guys, it's, you know, Difficult to get 36 holes in and feel good about ourselves. Okay. Fleetwood Morikawa, Eric Cole, Homa, Chris Kirk, and Jackson Suber. That's another solid lineup. Fleetwood, Justin Rose, Michael Torbjornsson, Wallace, Homa, Suber. That might be the best one yet. Oh my God. Oh. Just hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's the wrong button. This is the right button. That's a lineup, sir. That's a lineup. Hold up. Wait a minute. Kevin Roy also, I believe, made the US Open. 10-9-8-7-7-7. Sure. This one's fine. This one is absolutely fine. Saved the lineups we built last week right here. Are the best ones that had Scotty. By the way, Scotty was in the GPP winning lineup last week at the Memorial, finishing 13th. And he was also in the Sweet Spot Optimal. So Scotty Scheffler still doesn't have to finish first place. Doesn't have to finish first place. Winning people lots of money. Lots of money. Okay. Burns Cole's the next one. Bryson goes, I love the process you've created. That's why I asked. I think if we could combine memberships with you/the solver or something would be next level. It would be awesome if you qualified for an event. Yeah. Ryan Henson in the chat goes, oh, so if you qualify for the 3M Open, I'm going to have a 5 of 6 to make the cut with you being the only guy missing the cut. I was like, I mean, if I do qualify for the event, the likelihood of me making the cut is pretty slim to none. But we don't need to be saying stuff like that, Ryan Henson. That'd be like me saying you're gonna miss the next step you take and fall flat on your face. That would not be. That's not a nice thing to say. Not a nice thing to say. All right. Burns and Cole. Five lineups for you, Mr. AJ. Burns, Morikawa, Eric Cole, Mac Meisner, Zachary Boshu, and Emiliano Grillo. 10-9-8-7-7-6. I love that lineup. That's a good lineup. I'm not going to play the music. It doesn't make me feel super sexy, but not bad. Ooh, look at this lineup. Burns, Rose, Bridgman, Eric Cole, Potgieter, and Taylor Moore. Not bad. Not bad.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Thank you, Larry David. 10-9-8-7-7-6. Burns, Hovland, Rye, Cole, Meisner, and Lipsky. I'm not a huge Lipsky guy, not a huge Lipsky fan, but hey, that's a lineup that you could save if you wanted to. 10-9-8-8-7-7. My buddy also was beating Austin Smotherman in that qualifier too. I have no idea how they end up finishing. I don't know what my buddy's score is, and I actually don't know Austin Smotherman, but I do know maybe it wasn't Austin Eckroat. It was Austin Smotherman that he was tied with. Austin Eckroat was leading that qualifier halfway through. Burns, Højgaard, Rye, Cole, Kim, and Smotherman. I like it. We're saving it. Burns, Rose, Cole, Ryan Fox, defending champ, Jordan L. Smith, and John Perry. By the way, defending champs have a pretty good run at this place. You've got, I think, DJ, Johnny Vegas, Rory McIlroy. Not bad. John Perry. Remember when he used to be good? I'm willing to take I'm willing to take a risk on him. I don't think that's a terrible lineup. Here's an Austin Eckroat lineup with Jordan L. Smith. This one, very similar to the last one, but this one I think is a little bit better. I'm okay with it. That's a pretty good lineup. Pretty good. That is pretty good. I might need a new job, Eric. We lost some funding. I was actually applying for jobs already. Glad to see the new job is treating you well. Thanks, Logan, and good luck to you, man. Good luck to you. All right. We are down to Lombardi Lee with Tommy and Austin. I'm going to guess... Oh, since you said Austin Eckroat, that's the guy you're choosing for your Austin. What the heck? 7,000 flat? Hot damn. Okay. Here we go. Yes, you're right. All right. That is the most you've ever gushed over my lineups. Well, you finally picked good golfers. You finally listened to my stream for once in your lifetime. I'm kidding. 1099-777. Holy guacamole. Fleetwood McIntyre, Nikolai Højgaard, Kirk Eckroat, and Kevin Roy. Wow. Wow. Fleetwood McIntyre, Harry Hall, Matt Wallace, Finau, Eckroat. I actually really like that lineup. That one is... This is very good. This lineup's very good. I like it. Very good. Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, Aaron Rye, Bridgman, Tom Kim, Eckroat. It's another good lineup. Fleetwood Rose, Thorbjornsen, Penrith Moore, Eckroat. Another good lineup. You got a good combo here, Lombardi. Fitzpatrick and Fleetwood, 2 10Ks. Rose, Eckroat, Hoagie, and Chandler Phillips. We're going to say no to that. But that was a spicy meatball. This is even spicier. Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, Rose, Eckroat, Fishburne, Davis, Riley. I'm going to save it. Does a lineup like this have a lot of success? No, it does not. I'm going to throw that out there. No, it doesn't. You want to be different. This is a way to be different that has structure to it, but I don't think you need to get this different if you're building a lineup. So I'll let you save it on your own. I'm going to try a different one. Still doing the 2 10s with the 9. That must mean ownership is too high for some of these other golfers. But a lineup like this I actually like better than the other ones, so we'll save this one. Alrighty, moving on. From Tommy and Austin down to Michael Kennedy's Matt Fitz, Brooks Koepka, and Austin Smotherman. Okay. I don't mind that combo of golfers. Brooks, and then Smotherman. Where you at, Mr. Smotherman? $7,100. Austin Smotherman. When you qualify, I'll for sure have 100% so I can invest back into the channel. That'd be funny. Matty Fitz, Koepka, Justin Rose is just like, the optimizer just loves it some Rose. Guess what we're going to do? 20% for Rose. 20% for McIntyre. The rest of these guys can stay up at 100. That's fine. Actually, maybe 25 for Rose for the time being. So this is a lineup. You can save it if you want. Jesper Svensson was a part of it. Damn, I don't mind that, but we're not going to do it. Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, so 2 10s. Koepka, then Smotherman, Lipsky, Joe Heiss. We're not, no. Nope. I'm going to make it only choose one 10K. I don't want the two 10s right away. Yeah, this is better. Fitzpatrick, Koepka, Noren, Smotherman, Svensson, and Hodges. There we go. Fitzpatrick, Koepka, Wrighton, Wallace, Smotherman, and Danny Willett. Danny Willett's the last year one. And he's the only last year one. That's an interesting lineup. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. Sure, let's save it. Ryson, welcome to the red tier, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. And then it breaks. Let's see. Where are ownership issues? I don't know. This shouldn't affect anything. That shouldn't affect anything. Some of these guys... Is it the 8K range? But why wouldn't we have like a Brennan in there? Or even an Alex Fitzpatrick? Why is this breaking? How about I go like this? Still breaks. So one of these buckets. Oh man, I wish I could have maybe I will actually create that, like a total ownership percentage for each of these buckets, so I could tell how close it would be over the maximums. I have a feeling that the last year one bucket, or not last year one bucket. Is it the last week one bucket? One of these buckets is having an issue. Let's see, two 10Ks. Can we build a lineup of two 10Ks? Yes, we can. Maybe it's a pricing thing. Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, Koepka, Smotherman, Lipsky, Campos. No, we're not doing that one. The Daywalker and Chandler Phillips, I don't think so. Lipsky and Marcelo Rosso, nope. All right, Lipsky's getting the boot. I want nothing to do with Lipsky. Why are you being selected? Last year 5? Is that the reason why? Last year 5 and the last week 6? Is that what it is? Last year 5s? How many golfers do we have in the last year 5 bucket? $39. So no, it's not an issue here. Okay, let's try again. Villegas and Riley. So hold on, hold on. Our 8K range must be just struggling. Is that what I'm getting a sense of? I don't see why. I don't see how. 0% Nick Taylor. What in the hell is going on? What's going on? Group 4, Group 5. What are you guys in? That's being so challenging. Last year 6s? No, that's not going to be an issue. Course History 2, Course History 3. Wonderful. Love that. Strokes gained 1. Strokes gained 3. Those are all fine. Yeah, we have our ones there. What's going on? Is it last year 5s? I don't... What? What? I'm going to move this to a 0 and see what else it'll do. Okay, it did choose 0. I'm going to change this to a 1 for 10Ks. Still breaks, so it's not just the last year 5s. So the last week 1s? Are we already kind of at full? No. 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 What? hell? What the heck's going on? Hold on, just give me a hot second. This is annoying. I need to figure out a way to figure that. I need a way to figure that out. Okay, what's going on? You 10Ks, I only want one. I don't want. Ten 9 and 4 7s. How difficult was that? So 0 last year 5s. So last year 5s are my issue? I mean, it's going to be a combo. Oh, last week 5s also. Ay, 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 dude. Ooh, no, we don't want that. Hold on. There you go. So yeah, 0 last year 5s. Oh, last week 5s weren't selected. Last week 1s. That's where it was coming down. Everything else is fine. Everything else is fine. See, Eric Cole is over 35%. Rye is over. Fitzpatrick is not, though. So why can't we add another 8K golfer to the mix? And I don't think there's anyone that's down here. Oh, okay, so it is the last week ones. Hold on. The hell. 9 total golfers. All in the 10K to 8K range. That's why. Okay, that's why. Last week ones. Fleetwood Burns. Clark Road. Yeah, there's only 9. Starts with Eric Cole and it goes up. Okay, well, we'll make that a 0 then, and we'll continue moving on. This lineup is fine. Fitzpatrick, Koepka, Thigala, Fox, Yu, and Smotherman. We'll save that one. Run the optimizer. Fitzpatrick, Koepka, Rye, Meisner, Smotherman, Patrick Fishburne. Sure, why not? And then the last one is Fitzpatrick, Koepka, Bridgman, Thigala, Smotherman, and Chad Ramey. I also don't hate that one either. I also don't hate that one also. Okay. Peace. Danny Brown withdrew, I heard. Okay. Good to know. Thank you, Logan. What 6K guys are last year ones? 0. Oh, last year ones. Good question. Hey, guess what? Mr. Kennedy, this page right here is free. It's free. And after you let it load, comes here, you hit this little button right there, drill down into last year 1. So just a slight little mouse movement, hit the X, and now you can see all the golfers that are last year 1. So it's Danny Willett and David Skins. You're only 6K golfers. That is free. That is free. Alrighty. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, for... Oh, maybe you were asking that question because you were trying to find other last year ones. My bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. I forgot I was building lineups for you. Okadoke. Where am I going next? Who is up next? I believe it's Mr. Ryan Henson. He wants Burns, Lowry, and Bridgman. Burns, Lowry. I think that's probably the best combo, by the way. Burns, Lowry. And then Bridgman. Who I don't have an issue with Bridgman. Not my first. He would not be my first selection. First round, first pick. Not at all. All right. Here we go, Ryan. Here we go. No, I didn't want that. Hold on. Do that and this. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so here's your first lineup. Burns, Lowry, Thorbjornsen, Bridgman, Taylor Moore, Austin Smotherman. There you go. Burns, Lowry, Hall, Bridgman, Tom Kim, small hands Tom Kim, Austin Smotherman. Not terrible. Burns, Lowry, Mitchell, Bridgman, Matt Wallace, and Smotherman. That's fine. I'm kind of not digging these so far. This is a good one. Burns, Lowry, Bridgman, Meisner, Hoey, and Smotherman. Marty Schmidt, okay. You know what? I'm down with this lineup. This is the best one for you so far. Burns, Lowry, Rye, Bridgman, Schmidt, and Smotherman, and one for the road. Another Hoey in there. This is a lineup I think we already saved. Yeah, we did. We already saved that one. Optimizer. Move on. Get on out of here. I already kick out Hoey. What would we get instead? Here's one for the road. Burns, Lowry, Bridgman, Thigala, Johnny Kifa. Actually, I do like... Ooh, I like this lineup. I like this lineup. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. There you go, Mr. Henson. There you go. Did you lock Smotherman? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. I did not lock Smotherman, but you didn't tell me to lock Smotherman. But he showed up in all of them. Oh, let's try this again. Let's try it again. Smotherman must have been locked. My bad. My B. Burns, Lowry, and the Bridgman. Everything else is cleared, so if Austin Smotherman shows up, it's because he's needed. Okay, didn't show up here. Burns, Lowry, Bridgman, Thigala, Hoey, Tom Kim. Good eyes. Burns, Lowry, Bridgman, Nick Taylor, Johnny Kifa, Chris Kirk.
Oh, you gotta get him that hot tour and spit on that thing. You get me?
That's for Johnny Kifa. Johnny Kifa. Burns, Lowry, Bridgman, Thigala, Hoey, Taylor Moore. Okay. Burns, Lowry, Bridgman. Okay, that's too much Hoey, but if you like it, this is a pretty good lineup. Pretty good. It's too much Hoey for my liking, but this could be a good Hoey golf course. It's actually a pretty decent lineup. Save this one for a rainy day. Burns, Lowry, Bridgman, Fox, Wallace, Potgieter. That's pretty good. And then Burns, Lowry, Rye, Bridgman, Schmid, and Kevin Roy. That's very similar to a lineup I built you already. Or the last go around. All right. Good eye. Good eye, good eye, good eye. Wheels Up says, my hand build was Fleetwood, Morikawa, Lowry, Homa, Suber, and Paul Peterson. Wow. I don't know if I would like Paul Peterson in my lineups. Bryson says Fleetwood, Bobby Mack, but no 7K. That's my next one. Yes, welcome, Bryson. Alrighty then. Fleetwood and Bobby Mack. Wait a minute. Are you going Fleetwood, Bobby Mack because you're secretly a Fleetwood Mac fan and you just want to see Fleetwood Mac back together? Are those the vibes that I'm getting from you? We got Fleetwood Mac going on. Oh, no 7Ks. No 7Ks. Well, this will be interesting. 0. 0. Here you go, sir. Fleetwood, Bobby Mack, Victor Hovland, Nick Taylor, Johnny Vegas, David Lipsky. I'm going to say nay. Fleetwood, Bobby Mack, Thorbjornsen, Hall, Hubbard, and Lipsky. Oh, I've been saying I don't like Lipsky. I'm just going to make sure nobody gets him. But if you like him, go for it. Fleetwood, Bobby Mack, Noren Mitchell, Garrett Kigo, Chandler Phillips. That one's fine. Fleetwood, McIntyre, Nikolai Højgaard, Keith Mitchell, Takumi Kanaya, and Hank Libiota. I love that lineup. That's a good one. Fleetwood, McIntyre, Højgaard, Mitchell, Glover, Justin Lauer. I'm going to skip that one. Fleetwood, McIntyre, Mitchell, Taylor, Ewert, and Billy Horschel. Bobby Horschel. That's not terrible. Fleetwood, Bobby Mack, Noren, Keith Mitchell, Glover, Joel Damon. Sure. Last one, Fleetwood, McIntyre, Thorbjornsen, Mitchell, William, Mao, and EVR. That's the best one yet for your lineups. Not my favorite. None of those were my favorites, but not terrible. All right. Oh, you want to learn? You wanted to learn how to do this, the optimizer? Yeah. Just going into the 7K range here, it was 1 to 4. You just go double zeros. 0 there, 0 there. That's how you build no 7Ks. AJ, are you saying Fleetwood Wrighton because you want to see Fleetwood Wrighton lineups? Late to the party. Too much work. Can we add Clark, Nick Taylor to the party? Yeah. Clark and Nick Taylor. Windy C. Nick Taylor. 5 lineups for you, sir. Fleetwood, Clark, Nick Taylor, Meisner, Kirk, Kevin Roy. That's not terrible. Not my favorite. Fleetwood, Wyndham Clark, Nick Taylor. Tony Finau, Tom Kim, Kevin Yu. Sure. Sure. Why not? Fleetwood, Wyndham Clark, Nick Taylor, Tony Finau, Aldrich, Potgieter, and Taylor Moore. Yeah, sign me up. You know what? Sorry, guys. I have not been highlighting lineups because I haven't liked any of them. I mean, I've liked some of them. I did play music for one of them. That one I actually like. Fitzpatrick, Clark, Rye, Nick Taylor, Schmid, Justin Lauer. Nope. Clark, Rye, Mitchell, Nick Taylor, Mac Meisner, Jordan Smith. 9 3/8 2 7. That's fine. I've seen that work before. Fleetwood, Clark, Taylor, Meisner, Perry, Emiliano Grillo. 10-9-8 7-7-6. That one I also like. Okay. 5 lineups for Mr. Nathan Johnson and 1 lineup coming up for AJ Love, who says he just wants 1. He just wants 1 lineup of Fleetwood and Wrighton. Christopher Wrighton. Group 2 and Group 3. Your 1 lineup. It's not a bad lineup. Fleetwood, Rose, Wrighton, Grazerman, Wallace, and Hoogie. Try 1 more. No, 1 more. 1 more. I can get behind it. Fleetwood, Rose, Wrighton, Pendrith, Kevin Yu, Vince Whaley. Okay. Sweet. Sweet. AJ, the third line, usually the best. Thank you, sir. Is Clark going to show up again? Never play this dude, but maybe it's time. I'll say this. I said last week, do you remember me in my streams? I think, I know I said it in the members only stream, but I think I said it also in the strategy stream. I thought Wyndham Clark was going to be a piece in the optimal lineup. You're going to need Wyndham Clark is what I said. Like, I have a feeling you're going to need Wyndham Clark this week. I didn't say he was going to win, but I felt like you're going to need him. I think Wyndham Clark has figured something out, and you should play him if you can stomach it. You should play him if you can stomach it, because he has elevated his game. It's 2 weeks in a row that he is shooting lights out. Be cautious, because the week he won, he had like hundreds of feet of putts made. So that's not sustainable that much. Guy's obviously when he is putting well, he is hot fire. But when he's not, he's just not. What was last year's optimal lineup here? Your optimal lineup last year used, okay, so here's the thing. I actually went over this during the past optimal and GPP winning lineups. The optimal scored 691. The sweet spot optimal, okay, not this one. Hold on. We'll go here. We'll go here. This is a better tool. 2025. Optimal lineup scored 691. Was a 9K golfer and 5 7Ks. The sweet spot optimal scored half a point less. Half a point less. And it was a 10-9, 4 7s. Here is Ludwig, Sam Burns, Kevin Yu, Ryan Fox, Cam Young, Matt McCarthy. Matt McCarthy. I don't know why I said it that way. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Your GPP winning lineup was Ludwig, Sam Burns, Ryan Fox, Smalley, Cam Young, and Benny Ann. When he's not, he's hot trash. Yeah, that's right. He's got that trailer park vibes. Like, you know, that threshold where they start drinking a little bit. And it's all fun and games, but then right when they cross the threshold, they get into becoming just straight trash. That's Wyndham Clark. He's balancing on the razor's edge of being an insufferable drunk or a punch happy go lucky buzzed guy, whatever you want to call it. Whatever. I thought that'd be smoother to say, but it was not. He's one beer away from just being absolutely miserable. That is what Wyndham Clark is. One beer away from being absolutely miserable. Insufferable to be around. Okay. I'm gonna end it here. We're gonna end it here with a roll call. I just want you all to say goodnight. That's it. ETR has Fleetwood Chalk up at 33%, and no one else is above 18%. Down to Wrighton. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I will be going live tomorrow night. For members only, you have to have a white tier membership and above. Some of you guys were gifted white tier memberships, so you guys will be able to join in. AJ Love, I tell you, man. I tell you. 3 minutes from morning, says Ryan. He's on that East Coast time. Guess what? It's not morning until you go to sleep. It's not the next day until you go to sleep. And if you want to pull an all-nighter, the threshold of when it becomes the next day is 6 a.m. I didn't make the rules up. That's just how they were told to me. 6 a.m. If you're pulling an all-nighter, 6 a.m. It was your phone. It better be. It better be. Nathan, Bryson, Ryan, AJ. Nathan, Bryson, AJ. I did not put Ryan Henson in there. Oh, well, he said he didn't even say goodnight. Oh, he did. He did. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. We got you. We got you. We got you. Oh. All right, guys. 11 o'clock my time. It's the witching hour. Nothing good happens after midnight, Ryan. Remember that. I've not been sleeping, so I'm probably on last Friday still. Well, that's not good. That's not good. All right, dudes and dudettes, if there are any dudettes in here. Let's go ahead and bring this up. I guess one last reminder. One last reminder. Special orders. Hats. Hats, hats, hats. I clicked on the special order, so it's taking a while. I should have had this ready for you guys. Sometimes the website is slow. Sometimes it's fast. Get your hat orders in if you have not. I'm wearing one right now. This is what it looks like. That's what it looks like. That's option 4. Plug my sub count. We are at 955 subs. I'll bring this down and pull. Oh, interesting. We'll bring this one up. Win the pot giveaway, baby! You guys want to win money, right? Be subscribed if you're not subscribed. And look out for US Open content this week. As long as the salaries come out by Thursday, you will get videos Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday will be the live stream with me and Byron. That'll be your Sunday stream. That'll be the Sunday video. So hopefully we get something Thursday. All right, ladies and gents, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Time to do the timestamps and head to bed. So good night, y'all. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. All right, bye. By the way, Bryson, that's cool. Cool to see, dude. Cool to see.